Greetings, ladies and menfolk. It's time for another book review. Yes, we're back at it, and we are going to have a double hitter this time round for today, so get excited. This time round, we are doing Copper Girl and Copper Ravens by Jennifer Allis Provost. We're going to separate each video, so don't get too worried yet in case you haven't read them, so there won't be too many spoilers or anything, or there won't be spoilers at this time. So we're going to dive right into it because this is a fantastic series and I really look forward to book 3. But first, let's get to book 1, why don't we? Now, this is a fun little, I guess it would be classified as YA currently. Nice little series, but interesting twists. I like the way that she's kind of put this world together. It's a little bit different, which is nice. But before I delve into the details, let's actually do some of the preview stuff about the book. Let's do the back cover, as we do, because everyone starts seeing a book just by the cover. And, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but if that's the first thing you have to go off of, it's a good place to start. Enough rambling, onward with the back cover. Sarah had always been careful. She never spoke of magic, never associated with those suspected of handling magic, never thought of magic, and never ever let anyone see her mark. After all, the last thing she wanted was to end up missing, like her father and brother. Then, a silver elf pushed his way into Sarah's dream, and her life became anything but ordinary. Not much to go off of, to be fair, but, to give you an idea, this is a very slim little pocketbook style book, so not much to really kick off, but it was enough. Well, I don't think that's actually what caught my attention. I think it was more just the interesting premise for both of them and how it kind of played off of each other, and the fact that it was Book Expo. Yeah, these are Book Expo hauls, by the way, which we will be giving away details later in the video, blah blah blah. Yeah, I think it was partly just the concept of it all, and then being able to read some of the inside to figure out the style, and it was worth it because this is a fun series. So let's get that out of the way. I'm going to do the first effectively 2 pages because there's a convenient little break. Just to give you an idea of where things really kick off, this is the inciting incident, although it doesn't really feel like it. But if you've read the book, you'll understand why it would be the inciting incident, and let's just get to it. Chapter 1. It seemed like a good idea at the time. My office, like most modern offices, cranked the air conditioning down to Arctic proportions during the summer months. Consequently, we workers arrived in the morning dressed in sandals and sleeveless tops, donned heavy sweaters upon reaching our desks, and ended up shivering by noon. Ironically, when our workday ended, we were hit by a wall of oppressive heat the moment we stepped outside the main doors. No, this wasn't a flawed system in the slightest. That day, I wasn't having it. I had the grand idea of spending my lunch hour outside, away from the icy wind stiffening my fingers and chilling my neck. After I unwound myself from the Afghan I kept in my desk, and only used in the summer months, I gathered up my lunch and my phone and headed for an impromptu picnic in my car. What I hadn't considered was that the office runs the air conditioning so cold because it was, well, hot outside. Very hot, in fact. So hot that the cheese was melting in my sandwich and the lettuce looked like something that had washed ashore months, maybe even years ago. I was parked in the shade and had taken down my car's convertible top, but I still couldn't manage to get comfortable. I'd already shed my sandals and cardigan, which left me wearing my sundress and... dare I? I glanced around the parking lot of Real Estate Evaluation Services, the go-to firm for all your commercial real estate needs, according to the brochures. No one, human or drone, was taking a noontime stroll, and by virtue of my being on the far side of the lot, no cars were near mine. Most of my coworkers didn't even have cars, so the lot was rarely more than half full. What was more, from where I sat, I couldn't even see the office. I dared. I took a deep breath and channeled my inner wild woman, then leaned the seat back and slipped off my panties. Removing the small bit of cotton made an incredible difference, and the heat became somewhat bearable. Enjoyable, even. Was that a breeze? Ignoring my decrepit sandwich, I fully reclined the seat, set my alarm on my phone, and closed my eyes. A nap. Now that would make today bearable. And it doesn't go all downhill from there, but it gets progressively more complicated and interesting from there. That really is what kind of kicks things off. It instigates a ridiculous amount of fun. It is a fantastic style, and there are various elements to this series and universe that I really appreciated. I am not going to spoil things yet, but I will later for those who have read the book so we can discuss. But I will keep this part spoiler-free for you. It's focused primarily on the main antagonist, Sarah, and then an elf comes into the picture, Micah. These two play off of each other in interesting ways because you have two magic users from two different worlds with different upbringings and different perspectives on how things should be coming together and then facing a lot of politics and family shenanigans from both worlds. Yeah, it gets complicated very fast, but in a good way, not in like an I don't understand this way. It's more of wow, that's actually very interesting type of way. Now, you got the politics of the regular world, where Sarah currently is, working at her little real estate job. And then you have like the elf realm or the magic realm, where they have their own set of politics, which are just as complicated as the real world, possibly more complicated. And having those two aspects kind of play off of each other is very fascinating, especially once you get into the sequel, Copper Ravens. And I really want the third one to come out because there's a lot of loose ends that tie in from the first one to the second, but don't really get tied up fully. And I really hope get wrapped up in the third, because there's a lot of interesting facets of certain characters are not all what they seem. Like Sarah's friends in the real world are not exactly what they seem, but I don't think it's going to be black and white. That would be too simple. There's a lot more here than meets the eye, especially once you start getting the family together, because this isn't really a spoiler, so don't worry about that, but Sarah's family is kind of scattered. I mean, you have the mother, the father, as most families do. She also has a sister and a brother. That's where the family and politics drama really come into play, because the magic system for this world is fascinating and a really nice style that I appreciate. You have elementals, but it's not like fire, wind, water, earth, and if you want Captain Planet, heart. No, this is like if your element is copper, as the case may be in this one, then you can do certain things with the element of copper, or in Micah's case, silver. And there's a whole political system based off of the elements as well in the fairy realm, for convenience of naming it. So yeah, that was very interesting, and all the elementals have marks, as the cover kind of shows. Ta-da! And yeah, you don't really see that style for how to cover elementals very often. And I'm really curious to see how it all plays out, because not all elementals play nice with each other. So it'll be interesting to see how the political system between the elementals pans out, and how the politics between the fairy realm and the non-fairy realm pan out, because it doesn't seem like anyone really gets along with each other very much from either side, or or even from one's, like, the people on Earth realm don't really play nice with each other. The people in fairy realm don't play nice with each other. The two realms against each other don't play nice with each other. It's just a crazy time. And there's I feel like there's a lot of double agents or people playing multiple sides or multiple facets in this, so I really want the third one to come out because everything you have certain resolutions in the first one, as you do. You have certain resolutions in the second one, as you do, but there's more to be figured out. So please get the third book out. And I'm going to leave it off there for this one. I will say you can track down this book via Goodreads, Amazon. Unfortunately, I cannot track down the author's website or at least the proper website. If we just quickly go over, I found her blog, but there's no convenient links to her book that I can track down within like a 5-minute search. But it's Jennifer Allis Provost.blogspot.com. She does some reviews. It's worth checking out. She also keeps track of her blog tours, guest posts, interviews, stuff like that, where she's going to be at any given time for conventions and events. So that's nice. So you can figure out where she's going to be for book signings and whatnot. But for actual links to the book, best bet is do your standard internet search. Find it either at your bookstore of choice, or if you're an Amazon type person, go that route. I have not checked my local library. That's my bad, but these have, let's see, Copper Girl has been out for a while now, so you should be able to get it at your local library if you prefer that route, and more power to you. Support your local libraries. I believe Copper Ravens is comparatively new, so you might have a little more trouble with that one, but we'll get into that one in the next video. So let's focus on Copper Girl for the moment. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. I highly recommend this series and this author. It's worth the read, and it's a nice little quick read because, as you can see, it's a nice little small little book. I think I finished one of these in a day and a half, and that was during my full-time job as well. So I mean, it's definitely worth your time. And as we have been doing, we are giving this copy away. Hold on, let's let's not bend it too much, but as you can see, we have this signed by the author, and it's even been dated for Book Expo 2014. And this is just the first book. So this giveaway specifically is Copper Girl, but with this one, you are getting a necklace that came with it in the little gift basket. It's a necklace with an oak leaf and a little bauble, a little acorn, which looks like a tiger's eye, I'm pretty sure. This is going to come packaged with this book if you win it. Because, as you will see in the next video, for book 2, we have a specific giveaway for those to balance things out. So it's not going to be like all the shiny baubles are in the first one and then the second one you just get... No. We're going to make this fair. So, as we have done in the past, if you are interested in this book and you want book 1, post in the comments this specific phrase, "I wanna win." And then next week, we will see how many people have submitted. We will use the random number generator to figure out who wins, and then we will contact you accordingly, and then we will ship this copy out to you. And if in whatever case people don't happen to catch this in time, because we're making this timely, you only have 1 week to submit "I want to win." If no one submits, then this goes into a stash, and then at conventions, whatever stash we have, we will raffle off something on any given day, or just do a final giveaway at the end of the day if raffles are not allowed, because some conventions are specific about that. But yes, if you want book 1, type in "I want to win," and then next week we will notify the winner. Now, that being said, I'm going to continue this video, but with spoilers, because I want to talk about certain aspects of this book. So if you don't want to be spoiled, pause this video now, stop the video, post the comment you want, or post your comments as you do. But yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled, walk away now. I won't think any less of you. And if you have read the book and you want to discuss certain aspects, by all means continue watching, because there are some interesting aspects of this book. So, that being said, I will see you all next week for the next book review, and have a good week all. Alright, now we're going to get into Spoiler Town, because there are a lot of interesting aspects for this book, primarily between Sarah and Micah, and how Micah's royalty upbringing, for lack of a more appropriate phrasing, really clashes with Sarah's I gotta hide my magic style, because she is raised in regular world, Micah's in fairy world, two completely different politics and how things are handled. And it's interesting to see how she slowly tries to adapt to Micah's style. And there's a lot of friction in book one as to how that's handled, because two entirely different perspectives on how things should be. And Micah isn't exactly the most patient person. He's pretty short-tempered, and he doesn't really understand some of the complexities of regular world, just as she doesn't understand some of the complexities of fairy world. So, fair enough. And then there's the whole, hey, my father is MIA because fairy wars. Max, her brother, is MIA because fairy wars. Her sister is laying low at school, trying to do the whole I'm a normal person thing. And her mother is just chilling out at the family home because her mother's freaking powerful. She has a lot of political influence. Like, a ridiculous amount of powerful influence. Like, she is not a woman to be trifled with. And yeah, it's interesting to see how, even though they kind of have the short end of the stick in the real world, in the fairy world, not so much. They are actually a very powerful family and should not be messed with. As we see at the very end, when we kind of see Sarah's powers, I'm really hoping book 3 ties some of this up, because, well, let's see. You got the mother, who is royalty, and not like the frivolous royalty of, oh, I was born into it. No. The mother, like, she killed people to get into royalty. Like, she was not someone to be messed with by any means. And the father, he wasn't exactly a slouch either. I mean, there's a reason why people fear and respect him. Max is just a troublemaker, but he's powerful as well. And theoretically, the sister has some pretty powerful magics as well. So it seems like the whole family is just uber powered. And Micah has the entire power of his family behind him. So not only does he have his elemental power of silver, he has the political power of being the head of the family. So there's a lot of sway between all these people. That being said, they still have a hard time facing the Earth, like the regular realm politics, because in the regular realm, magic is taboo. You don't mess with it, you don't talk about it, you don't acknowledge the existence of it. If you are magical, you are a lesser person. So yeah, that was fascinating to kind of read into. And book 2 really helps, book 2, you will learn more about what happened to Max. You will learn somewhat what happened to the father, a little bit more about the mother and why you do not mess with her, and kind of the repercussions of what happens after you take out the political leader of one of those two realms. Like, yeah, that was surprising that you could just, like, oh, you're the big bad, or you are the leader of this place. Boom, you're done. You're gone. Yeah, there's going to be fallout. Regardless of how good or bad a leader is, if you take the leader out of position, everything's going to crumble for a little while, and it's going to take a while to build everything up. The Golden Queen takes a while to recover from imprisonment and all that, so. And there's still a lot more politics to be played, I presume, in Book 3. We're going to talk about Book 2 next time round. So we can actually go fully into detail as to just where the universe stands as of now, publicly. So I really look forward to doing that because there's a lot more I want to talk about, but I don't want to spoil Book 2 yet until we get to the actual video for Book 2. So tune in next week for Book 2 of this series so we can fully talk about everything that's on the table, figuratively. Well, literally, too, since Book 2 is right here. Alright, that's enough rambling for now. Tune in next week for Book 2, and for the giveaway for Book 2. In the meantime, again, if you want Book 1, if you want a signed copy and the little necklace of your very own, just type in I want to win. And if you want to discuss any of the spoilery stuff in this book, by all means, post in the comments, but please tag it as spoilers for those who have not read the book yet. I want to continue the conversations, but I also don't want to spoil things unnecessarily for new readers, so please keep that in mind. Alright, ladies and menfolk, until next week.